Sean, your perimeter defense against Gonzaga, was that a situation where your guys were getting caught maybe over-helping, or were you ducking under screens? Like, why do you think Gonzaga had so much success on the perimeter?
Yeah, I mean, with Gonzaga, I think, number one, you have to give them credit. I mean, they're America's best offensive team. They're the number one. And that's scoring, efficiency, and they really can beat you in a lot of different ways. We tried to pick the best game plan. And when I say game plan, there's only so much you can do with one day. But, it starts with Drew Timme and making sure that, you give yourself the best chance to be successful against him. But because he's such a unique player and good player, it can open the floodgates up for other things. And at least on our night that we played them, they made some timely threes too. I wouldn't put it just on the player that was guarding him or our perimeter players as much as, they made a couple shots, deep shots, when they really counted at the very last few minutes of the game. But I really wouldn't look at just the last game for us. I think the fairer point is to look at maybe the last 4 games. Obviously, we're playing against some really good teams, good programs. But, our defense is just it's below average. We have a long, long way to go. I do think there's a number of different things that we can improve on. But the ability to block a man out, the ability to get the ball when the other team misses, some of that is just will. It has to be incredibly important to the 5 players that are out there. But what you learn in rebounding and defensively is you could have 3 guys playing like their hair's on fire, playing with tremendous energy and togetherness. But if 1 or 2 guys out of that group isn't at the same level against the teams that we're playing right now, you really get exposed. And I thought that in the Duke game and in the Gonzaga game, we were exposed for who we are, and that is just defensively we're soft. We have long ways to go, and we don't have nearly the pride as a team, as a program, that we need on that side of the ball. We're going to keep working. It's my job, it's our coaching staff's job to fix the things that we can fix. And at the same time, we can do drills until you're blue in the face. When the game starts, you can't challenge a shot run by the man that you challenge the shot like you're playing in a rec pickup game, and then you don't get the ball. And the consequences for me when you do that, moving forward, I think to me have to be more severe, and that is we just have to go to our bench. We have to sub out. But the defensive disposition of our group isn't anywhere near it needs to be. We're not nearly as good defensively as we need to be. We're working hard on it. We have to fix the things we can fix, but we're not on the same page right there. So that's what I learned when we went to Portland. I knew it before the trip happened. I watched it against Indiana, and really the entire fall's been a building process. But the way our schedule has unfolded, we don't get any scrimmages or tests right now. We're real games, so we're learning lessons as we move forward. But here today, I'm incredibly disappointed with our ability to improve, sustain, and be a better defensive team. That's the state of the union here at Xavier.
Looking at Southeastern Louisiana, it seems like the 2 things that are really going to be important tomorrow night are your ability to defend the 3. They can shoot the 3-point well. And then they love to turn teams over. Is that kind of how you're approaching this?
Yeah, I think Southeastern Louisiana is a good team. Coming from out west like I have, playing at Colorado State like they did, and then leaving that game and playing at Wyoming, 2 hard places to play at, very well-coached teams. They beat Wyoming, and really the Colorado State game came down to the final minutes. I think the other part for us is when you come off of a tournament like we were in, 3 hard games in 4 days, the travel, We flew a red eye basically back on Sunday night. That first game, my experience is always, it's quite a test for your group. Regardless of who the opponent is, simply because you're coming off of like a 5 or 6 day ultra intense, asking a lot of your players, staff, et cetera. So now that we get back, I think the temptation is to relax. Hey, we're back at home, but we have a very good opponent, a dangerous team, and like you just mentioned, we just gave up 13 threes in a game and really lost in a tough one. This is a team that can really test our ability to defend the three-point line, and we're going to have a great practice here today. We're going to work on it, but we have to be able to carry that into the game and improve.
I still have to go back and watch your last few games, but it seemed like there were a couple stretches, particularly against Duke and in the second half against Gonzaga, where you went small with Colby at the 4. I think against Duke you put Colby on Filipowski, and then Gonzaga, when you went on the big run and ended up taking the lead, Colby was at the 4 again. Is that more of a matchup-specific look, or is that something that you really like about your team that you're comfortable rolling out there maybe more than we've seen to this point?
Yeah, so, it's really a matter of circumstances, Adam. We really would like to be able to do that every game, no matter who we play, where the game's played. I believe that makes our team the most versatile, and also I think it makes us the best we can be. The problem we ran into just because of the timing is, we lost Colby for, in essence, 8 days. He wasn't able to practice. So, part of that group, which he's a part of, we didn't have the opportunity to practice. We also played without Adam Kunkel for a week, and then, AK went down again here in Portland. So, sometimes early November, and we're not even in December yet, you only have so many days and weeks that you can work on things. And I would say that lineup right there is more a victim of some untimely injuries, because we want to do it. And you're right. Each of the 3 games in Portland, we did do it. But I think that's kind of like something we can change the game with. Much different offensive spacing, certainly more quickness on the perimeter. And, right now, we're not going to be any worse of a rebounding team with that group than we are with the starting group. We don't rebound. We don't. We get away from the contact when the fight comes. We don't always enter the fight, the ball. Sometimes, there was a play in the Gonzaga game, and the player, Ben Gregg, is a really good reserve player for Gonzaga, does his job. And he had a play where he ran from the Gonzaga bench on the right wing in the second half when really the game was close, and he got the ball among 4 of our players. Just, we missed the block out. He out-efforted us. He kept the ball alive, but on that possession, you talk about three-point shots, Gonzaga had 4 threes off of offensive rebounds. So if you think about those 4 threes, none of them were really about perimeter defense. It was our Achilles heel right now, which is when the shot goes up, we can't get out of the way. We can't cherry pick like we're here at the rec center. We have to stay involved. Guys who come off the bench have to know it is the number one thing on our list. And if we could ever get rebounding, the other part of it is you have to remember from an offensive perspective, we're really playing without stops. The hardest part and way to score is when the defense is set. So how are you able to get some opportunity when the defense isn't set against you? Off of transition, off of missed shots, block shots, steals, right? So if you don't have that, it's harder on your offense. So I think some of the good things that we're doing on offense, we have potentially even more of an upside if we could fix something that right now we haven't been able to fix in 6 games.
You mentioned Kunkel. What's it look like for him going forward? Do you anticipate he'll play?
It's too early to tell. With injuries, you're looking for progress, similar to how I explained Colby. 2 different types of injuries, I know, but Colby seemed to be making progress, a week or 2 ago, almost every day. I would say the same thing about Adam. He took a pretty hard fall against Duke, and But he's really bounced back now that we're back in Cincinnati. I think every day, almost every half of a day, he becomes more and more of himself. Symptoms are going away. So, potentially we're hoping to be able to play him at some point here soon. I don't think this is something that will linger for weeks. Thank goodness for him. And look, injuries are a real part of this, but losing him at about the 12-minute mark of the Duke game and him not participating or playing at all against Gonzaga is not to our benefit. Depth, a player of his caliber, we're certainly better with him, and we're looking forward to getting him back.
In your mind, was it just a matter of time before Colby got his shooting going? I mean, to go 9 for 10 against 3 really good teams, and how does that change your offense when now teams have to worry about that?
Yeah, I've been saying, and you know better than anybody, Colby's had an amazing spring and summer, which encompasses almost 5 months, and then, an additional fall. I'd say in the 7 months, he's worked on an everyday basis on his shooting. And he really has. He's cut no corner. He's put in the time, and I think his shot has always been evolving to the point where it's going to be okay. It's going to be good, but you have to see it in the game. Similar to our rebounding, right? You can do all these drills with no crowds here, but when you smell popcorn, when the people are in the stands, when referees are here, you got to be able to do it in the game. And it was just great to finally see Colby implement that into the game, because I'm here to tell you, not that he's going to go 9 for 10 for the rest of his career, but is he a good and a very capable three-point shooter? Absolutely. And it adds an element to our offense. I also think it completes him as a player, because if you think of all the different things he did, I thought he was outstanding really in all 3 games in Portland, and coming off of the ankle injury. Defense, we need him to rebound more, but rebounding, his ability to pass, steal the ball, right? He does so many things that I think he's one of the most complete players that's playing in college. And I think he's one of the best players in the Big East Conference. There's a reason those coaches picked him on the preseason All-Big East team, and he's off to a really good start. I'm happy with him, really happy for him, because when you see somebody put that type of work in, it's great to finally see it happen in the game. And I think from this point forward, it'll continue to happen for him. I really believe that.